Started recording. All right, let's talk about this. This is going to be a practice test. This is basically how your test is going to look like. The only difference is I'm going to give you a formula sheet. I'll put it in the front. I'll post what the formula sheet. The nice one that you want, actually. All right. First off, so the circumference of a circle is C equals 2 pi r. So if I'm looking for the circumference and I know the radius is 12, I'm going to do 2 times 3.14 times r, which is 12. And then I need my calculator. Let me put it in the corner over here. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 12. I'll move it out of the way. 75.36. Yes, technically is inches. Again, I will not take points off for units lacking or units being wrong, okay? Yeah. You could do it all in one to your calculator. Or you could do one at a time. Yeah. So, number 2 is the reverse situation. Since the circumference is 93, I know it's 93 equals 2 times 3.14 times r. This case, I don't know what r is. Well, I'll multiply the 2 and 3.14 to become 6.28. Then divide 93. And the only reason I'm doing it in the calculator on the video, just to make sure it could be clear what I'm doing. 93 divided by 6.28. That's 14.8.
Is that R?
Yep, this is R. R equals that, and technically it's inches, so or kilometers. Yeah, it's kilometers. If you don't or you do, you will not lose points. 2 times 3.14. Okay, number 3. The area of a circle is area equals pi r squared. That's the area of a circle. So find the area of a circle when the radius is 15. 3. Yeah, you can. It seems like 3.14 times 15 squared.
Why is it squared?
That's part of the formula. Yeah. So I do 15 squared. If you're ever worried, you could just put 15 times 15. Either way, 706.5. This one's technically meter squared. I'll say it almost every time. Labeling, I will not take points off, but I should at least show you what the correct labels are. Alright. Something happened with the formatting. I don't know. It looked like this on your page. Let me just put this on the other page. Okay, there. Alright. This one. Find the radius of a circle with the area of 70. Again, it's a reverse situation. So 70 equals pi, which is 3.14, r squared. So first thing we're going to do is divide it by 3.14. And the only reason I know you know, or I would like you to explain, but I want to make sure the video gets it. So I'm going to do 3.14 on both sides. So that's going to be no problem. And
so you divide when there's when it's the radius, and then you
pretty much because you're trying to get radius by itself, like the r. So then you have 22 points, let's say 3. Then to get rid of the square, you're going to have to square root it. So I got to square root both sides. Remember, to find the square root on your calculator, it's second square. I will make a square root. 22.3. 4.7. This is inches, so inches.
So every time it says find the radius, you divide it.
Technically, yeah, because you always try to get the variable by itself. In this case, the radius has that number next to it, so divide that pi away. Okay. Number 5 and 6. Is 7 and 8 on the same page for you?
Yeah.
Okay. I just copy and paste this on something else, that's why, so sorry if it's weird here. All right. Number 5 and 6, we're going to use the same picture for this one. Probably on the test, I'll put one picture for each one, but... So, this one, find the arc length of AB. To find arc length, it's going to be the measurement or the degrees of the shape, whatever it might be. So this is 60 degrees. Divided by 360, because that's a full circle, over the arc length, which we don't know what it is right now, so I'll put AL, arc length. But I know what a whole circle is. What is a whole circle, the edge of the circle, called? Starts with a C. Circumference. So circumference, which is 2 pi r. But I know what pi is, and I know what r is, so I can replace that. So let's do the work here. So 60 over 360. And this is 60, let me just point out, because the degrees is 60. It's whatever the angle is, okay? Equals the arc length over 2 times 3.14 times r, which in this case is 10. 60 divided by 360. I could simplify that to 1 over 6. Because I could take out 60 on top and bottom. I'll explain. Ready? Let me finish this and then I'll explain afterwards. Another test sheet? You just took one.
Here, wait.
Oh, and then you picked up the wrong one. Take 60 on top and bottom. I'll explain in a second. Let me finish the work, give the answer, and then I'll explain post. So 2 times 3.14 times 10 is 62.8. Now I need to get this AL by itself, so I'm going to multiply 62.8 on both sides. So 62.8 times 1 divided by 6 is going to be... You don't want to write 0.666 because that's not correct. It's technically 0.66 forever. So just use 1 over 6 in that case. Yes. And then your answer would be 10.5. That is your AL. This is a... Yeah. Equals AL. All right, let me explain where all these numbers come from, okay? So, this one over here is the angle or the degrees. So put DEG. This is the degrees of the angle. So in this case is 60 degrees, okay? The second part, can I change colors? Yeah. Oh, watch. This part is always 360. Why is it always 360? Good, because we always compare part over a whole. If you remember percentages, it's part over whole. If you remember fractions, it's part over whole. It's the same thing here. The part I'm looking at, 60 degrees, over the whole thing, 360, a full circle. Yes. Then over here is arc length. I don't know what that is, so I left it as AL. On your test, I'm not going to give you the reverse question. I'm just going to give you find arc length and find sector. And then this one over here is 2 pi r. 2 pi r is what formula again? It's a circumference, which is the whole circle edge. No, AL is arc length. So when I say arc length, I'm talking about, I just want, how much string is this part right here? If it was a pizza, how much crust is that? Like how much physical measurement of a crust it is. Right? But a full circle is 2 pi r. A full circle is 2 pi r. So what I'm doing is just taking the piece and finding the fraction of it. Now let me talk about this. People were confused. 60 divided by 360. I divided 60 on top and bottom. I want to be clear though. If you don't divide 60 on top and bottom, you still get the right answer when you put it in the calculator. Let's say if it was 60 over 360, I would do 62.8 times 60 divided by 360. So simplifying the fraction is not necessary. You still get the same answer. It helps, but you still get the same answer. And when I click it, or when I type it in here, this is times. So 62.8 times 1 divided by 6. So that's why I put it in that order in my calculator. We're going to do the same thing with sector, which is almost the same thing, except a little different. Yeah. So we're using the same circle. We're going to find the sector area. So in this case, it's going to be 60 over 360. It's still that because that's how much shaded it is.
How do you get from 62.8 to 10?
I typed it in my calculator.
How is the whole thing?
So what do you do after you get 62.8?
What? No, I know. It looks like this.
Oh, you times that on both sides to get rid of the 62.8 on this side.
Is 1 over 6, is that like simplified 60 over 60?
Yes. All right, 60 over 360 equals the sector length. We'll put SEC for that, sector. Over, what's a full circle? The area of a full circle? The area of a full circle? No, not that 2 pi. Pi r squared.
Come on, bro. You've done better.
Let's talk about it later, okay?
Yeah, just he's so mad at you.
All right. So 60 over 360 is your sector over pi over r squared. But I know what pi is, and I know what r squared is. Or I know what r is, at least. So 60 over 360 equals, I don't know what the sector is, so I'm going to keep it SEC. And I'm going to do 3.14 times the radius, which is 10 squared. So this is going to be 314. So what I'm going to do is times 314 on this side to cancel out the bottoms, and times 314 here. I'm going to show you, you don't actually need to simplify in order to get the answer. You'll still get the answer if you don't simplify. So I'm going to do 314 times 60 divided by 360. 52.3. So my answer is 52.3. I didn't give a unit, so 52.3 equals the sector.
Why didn't you like write the 10 and the 2?
Why did I not write? Say again.
Like, why did you do 10 and 2? Why did you just like 3
Times 10 squared. It's over here. I just crossed it out because it'll get crossed out eventually. So I just did it quickly to save time. But again, take your time, put it in the calculator. There's nothing wrong with that. Any other questions? Because this is, I would say, the more difficult part because this actually has setup. Other than the, I would say so.
The arc length is 5.
No. The arc measure is 60. The arc length is how long it actually is, like the string it takes, which in this case is 10.5 foot. Okay, I'm moving on because I don't see any questions coming up. All right, spheres. Spheres. The surface area for a sphere. It is 4 pi r squared. The surface area for a sphere is 4 pi r squared. Okay?
That's not the surface area of a sphere.
For a sphere, yeah. So we're just going to type that in our calculator. 4 times 3.14 times, but we have to be careful. What I have here is not the radius, but the diameter. So I need to cut this in half. So make sure you cut 75 in half before you start, which is 30. What is it?
It's 37.5.
37.5 squared. So make sure you cut it in half. If you forget to cut it in half, that's going to lose you a point.
Where did you get 37.5?
That's half of 75. If you don't know how to do that, always you could just take the number divided by 2.
Wait, what was that you said again?
Take the number divided by 2, that will cut something in half.
Which number?
In this case, 75.
Wait, it's only for finding the surface?
You need the radius. What I got is the diameter. So I have to cut it in half. Let me do it.
Is it really high?
Wait.
Yes, it's going to be really big. Because we're squaring 37.5.
Oh, you're right. So 37.5 squared.
Millimeters. This is surface area is squared. And yeah, the number's big just because 75 is a big number. That's the real reason. The volume's going to feel bigger. So sorry about that. Okay, volume, just another formula. It's going to be volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. Think of volume as 3D. So, well, I'll give you the formula anyway. But there's more 3's in this one versus the other one. So I'm going to plug this in. So 4/3. In my calculator, I'm just going to put parentheses 4 divided by 3 to keep it safe. Times 3.14 times, remember, 75 is not my radius. That's the diameter. So I got to cut that in half. So 37.5 squared. Oh, cubed. Oh, good question. So let me just do the first part. 4 divided by 3 times 3.14 times 37.5. If I want to do the third power, over the division symbol is the caret. So I click that, and then I put the number 3. So I could put any power, but I just put 3. It's going to be huge. So 220781. It's because we're cubing a second digit number, that's why.
37.5. It's like the up arrow thing.
Yes, it's the up arrow thing.
That's 50,734.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you get 22,000. 220.
Am I wrong?
Final answer. No, final answer. I was just saying.
I will not take off points for the units if you forget them or don't put them. I just should be doing the units in general. Like I'm just teaching it, but I will not grade you on that. All right, next one. The volume for the following shapes. It's a little spaced weird. Sorry about that. All right. On this page, is it up to 11 fits in it? Or okay. So let me just make space. Okay, whatever. All right. For this one, this is a square pyramid. Now, the volume for a pyramid is always volume equals 1/3, capital B base times height. For a square pyramid in particular, it's 1/3 times what's the base of a pyramid is a square. So it's going to be side squared. This is a S.
Top one's just for pyramids.
Height. This one is for all pyramids. And because it's a square on the bottom, I replace the B with the formula for a square, which is S squared. On your test, you'll get both parts. So
41 height.
41 in this case will be the height. So I'm doing 1/3 times 18 squared times 41. Yes, it should be S for side. Because a square is always the same, it's sides.
Wait, is 18
You could say length and width though, but they're always the same. What's up?
What's
Okay.
the difference between those two? Which
Length and width versus sides.
which one's the what?
This is for any generic pyramid.
I know.
This is because I realized this is a square on the bottom. I replace the capital B with the formula for a squared, S squared. Okay, this is generic pyramid. Any pyramid's like that. This over here is because exactly it's a square on the bottom. I'm going to replace the capital B with the formula for a square, the area of a square, which is side squared, or side times side. Yes. Yes. Sorry. All right. Then I take my calculator, type it in. Probably. 1 divided by 3 times 18 squared times 41. 4428. Good question. Good question. How do I know which one's which? All right. You have to look at the shape itself. Which one is the 3D height of the shape? 41. 41 is clearly the height of the shape. What's up? It's the sides is 18 in this case. Yes. And 41, not 21. Oh. What's up? Typically, I could technically have it upside down, but so like, you got to think of it like the height coming from the shape on the bottom. Like you have to actually think a little bit about it. Like, what's up? The base, yes. And we say capital B because it's like a whole shape. Yeah, the height is always the 3D shape. So number 10, what is the height in that case?
Does it really matter if you switch it on?
8.9?
In this case, it does, yeah.
That one is easier. 'Cause it's like,
Okay.
how do I get out of the like?
Go right. All right, number 10.
What do you mean by side?
So a square has a side. It has 4 sides. But all the sides are equal, correct?
Oh, so in the next one, 3.7 squared?
No, it's not a square. What is it now? Yes. All right, next one. So let me say it for everybody. 1/3 base times height. Shh, for the cone. 1/3 base times height. Now, this is a cone. So what's the bottom of the shape here? It's a what? It's a circle. So we're going to use the area of a circle. What's the area of a circle? Pi r squared. H. Volume equals 1/3 times 3.14 times, what is my radius in this picture?
3.7.
The radius in this picture is 3.7. That's the one inside the circle. So 3.7 squared. Times the 3D height. So it's coming up at 8.9. Which means I take that and put it in my calculator. 1 divided by 3 times 3.14 times 3.7 squared times 8.9. 127.5. That's the 3D height.
Wait, the thing that you gave us first, like 1/3 base height, is that like the thing that like doesn't actually help us?
It should help you. But it's a pyramid.
Okay, but then that one is what is.
Yes, but why? I'm asking you, Nicole. Why is it this one and not the one from previous? It's,
How do I know?
it's because the bottom is a circle. That's what's the difference. Versus the other one's a square. Yeah, what's up,
How do I know, like what's in the first one? How do I know? How do I know to use 18 not 41?
You have to look at the bottom of the shape. The bottom of the shape here is 18s. So that must be.
I always have to look at the bottom.
You have to, the bottom should dictate what the B is going to be, or the base. Okay?
So if we were using height, it would be 41.
Yeah, and I did 41 over here.
Oh,
Okay. All right, 11. This is a rectangular prism. the volume of a rectangular or any prism is base times height. Notice there's no 1/3. So prism is always base times height. Yes. Yes. Now, what's the formula of the base? What shape is this?
Where? Rectangle.
A rectangle. What's the formula for a rectangle? Just length. Well, it is length times width. And then the height on the outside. So it does become length times width times height. In this one, you're very fortunate. You can't actually mess this up because which one you call length, which one you call width, which one you call height, doesn't matter. So 5 times 3 times 7. I purposely made it awkward shaping or order, but it doesn't matter. So 21 times 5. Thank you.
Length isn't. How is the height 7?
Say again?
How is height 7?
It doesn't matter. In a rectangular prism, it doesn't matter because I could just switch it here. So I purposely mixed it up. Probably I would have done 7 times 3 times 5 if I really wanted to match it. But for a rectangular prism, it doesn't matter because you could technically rotate your thing. There's no square. M cubed because we're talking about 3D shape. Or we're talking about 3D space, the volume. Next one. 12. Okay. Next one. This is a cylinder. So it is base times height still. What's the bottom? I'm giving you a formula on like one sheet, and then you can use it from there. It will say cylinders are this. There are circles. So our base is now what kind of base?
This is a circle base.
Circle base. So it's pi r squared h. No, because it's not a pyramid. A pyramid meets up at the point. A prism is just a straight stack. Think of like Pringles versus, I don't know, ice cream cone. All right. So over here, remember, we're looking for the radius, which is part of the circle. That's that 4 meters. That's the radius of this prism. So volume equals pi. Oh, actually, I know what pi is. 3.14 times the radius, which is 4 squared, times the height, 9. So 3.14 times 4 squared times 9.
It's 450.
How many people are going to ask the formulas? Yes, I'm giving you the formulas, okay?
452.2.
452.2.
No, 0.60.
It doesn't matter. I just rounded up.
Does it matter if you put meters or not?
He said it's not going to take points off.
I know you said it, but I just want to make sure.
No, I won't take points off one way or the other. I'm just doing it because that's the proper thing to
Why
do.
is it cubed and this and not square?
Well, I have to round up.
Wait, one question. You don't force to round up, but you do got to give me at least 1 decimal point, okay?
Okay, how come it's square? I mean cubed and not square.
The meters cubed, it's because we're talking about volume, aka what could fit in this case, let's say the can. So that's a 3D space we're talking about, so it's meters cubed. Or unit cubed, or whatever it meant.
But there's 2.
What?
Why is it not?
Because the area of a circle is pi r squared. I'm just using the formula of the pi of a circle.
If I put meters squared, you wouldn't.
No, I told you, the units don't matter.
I know, because maybe that's a number.
No, I will not do that. That's too easy. Because then you actually don't have to think. At least if I put it on a separate sheet, you have to like read it and interpret it. All right, next one. Volume equals, this is a pyramid, technically. Oh wait, no, this is a prism actually. So it's going to be base times height. A pyramid meets up at 1 point. So if you could hold it like with your fingers. Here, no. That would be a flat part right here if you held it. Look at this. This is at a point, or you could think of it as it could stab, right? Like it could prick you. Here, this cannot stab you unless you hit it like at the corner. So this is a triangular prism. This is a tricky one. Please pay attention. Even this one, it doesn't really matter. But so volume equals. This is a triangle shape. Instead of laying it bottom top, they laid it this way forward. So what's the bottom or the base of the shape here? What kind of shape is it?
Triangle.
Say it again, Julie.
Triangle?
Yes, it's a triangle because it's stacked this way. So it is going to be, this case, 1/2 little b h. I use capital H. That's the formula for a triangle. The base is a triangle. It's like this, Kayla. It's stacked in front of you.
Final?
Final what?
Final?
What about it?
This is gonna be on it?
Everything we learn in the second semester will be on the finals.
Are we gonna get like a review back for that?
Eventually.
Alright, 'cause, like,
The bottom is
isn't there like a week after that?
No, you gotta. It's a shape that's been rotated. It's this way now. It's like the bottom's here, right? Where's the bottom?
face. It's like that.
Yes. It's faced like this.
Oh, is two considered a side because it's head is the base?
No. So the base is the triangle. All right, pay attention, shh, because I can see this is confusing. Give me a second. Shh. So I'll try to show it with a color. Here, that triangle is the base. In the middle, a cone. So this here is the base of the shape. So volume equals 1/2 the bottom of this triangle, which is 4, times the height of this triangle, 10. Now let's talk about the 3D height. Oh, this is a normal pen. What the heck? All right. This one. Oh, what the? These suck. All right. This one over here is the 3D height. Think of this tissue box. Usually the bottom's here, but if I face it this way, the bottom's still here, even though I'm facing it differently. So the height is 2. It's the little 2 over there. Now, lucky for us, because you're multiplying, technically it doesn't matter too much if you mess up the order, but whatever. So you type that in your calculator, you'll get 40 centimeters cubed. Is that it? Okay. I think I covered all the shapes, but use the review packet. I don't know what could I have missed.
Is this like what this is gonna look like?
Yes. Yes.
How is the height? There's 2 heights?
Yes, in this case. Because you have the height of the little triangle, and you have the 3D height. So there's technically 2 heights.
So the 3D height is 10.
No, the 3D height is 2. Kayla? Where's the bottom? Is it here? Okay. The bottom's still here. So this is still the base. So what's the 3D height? Is it this line? See? Or I guess down here. See? You have to rotate it in your head a little bit, okay?
The 3D height is what?
Is 2 in this case.